It's looking pretty good. Great side angle there from Mar. End up finishing that one up. T just listening to what's going on here with Turbulence. They're slowly walking up here, trying to see if they can play for a lurk right now. Like the strategy, like the play. Obviously, Bobby and crew they just have their guard down, right? Not sure if I like the 3-2-1 there. It wasn't exactly the opener they were looking for, and now they just give it up. So they're just kind of stuck here at this point.
Yeah, accidentally shooting on 2 different targets. Both of them did get damage. Just on 2 different players, unable to pinpoint the exact target. Possibly could have been a down if they chose wisely, but Turbulence Lucky are going to have to look for some HP. We only saw one of those 2 loadouts, but we saw no bandages, no med kits, or pizza in that inventory. So if they're looking to stay alive, they need to be on the hunt for the bare minimum here. You see the zone this time around in the minimap moving on over towards the north side. Wonky Land even being a primary focus. As you see Jack and Npen. 48 points so far, not where you would expect a team like this to be, especially with, you know, what's going on around Frigid Fortress, uncontested, nobody landing there, then triple contested. Both the zone pulling their way this time. Even without a win, if they somehow land a top 5 with a couple of elims, they'll at least put themselves in contention for a consistency spot in Game 6 or 5.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're 50 points in right now, you definitely have a chance for sure if you pop off. So I started looking over here. I was trying to piece together what all happened.
Any guesses? Full shield Koyo, any guesses?
I don't know. Maybe you try to do some fancy little bounce off here. Unfortunately, missed this drop. Probably landed just like this and then fell off. Let's see.
Okay, we get to see what actually happened. Okay.
Hey, Peter Ball, what's this?
See, at least they're human. At least they're human, because sometimes I feel like maybe they're just inside of the Matrix or something. They're a part of Fortnite, you know, but at least it goes to show that even they can make mistakes in certain moments. As we look at Seek's loadout here, you got Taki with the Chaos and the Thunderburst, but then you got Seek with just an AR, no shotgun. They're planning on rotating in, grabbing high ground, and hopefully playing for damage in the distance.
Let's continue to look at a couple elims that are happening here. This is another storm fight for Taki and Seek. That's how it ends up playing out. And although we were criticizing the loadout, it looks like it's working because they find elimination. That's probably why he just decided to max out on the extra heals to go the distance and play the dead side. He might be feeling really confident about how much damage they've done.
Is there an Ishu rotating in? This time around, all they have to do is just kind of move north. They get Dark Dominion uncontested. They haven't had to move at all so far during this game. Maxed up on materials, and even have some extra heals down below before they start to make that rotation. And since they have this bird's eye view, they can start to gather that information, figure out how many teams are rotating by them, where those teams are rotating, so that way they can make their rotation accordingly. Because shockwaving off high ground right here, you can cover distance farther, but it comes with its own risk. Uh-oh.
Ah, that's what they were doing. Okay, okay.
Is he spelling his name,
yes.
Koyo?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I was curious. Now it's all starting to make sense. That's an A. Yeah, at this point, I actually don't know what he's spelling. I'm not sure. I want to know. It's just...
Oh, their initials. Peterbot and Poyo. Their Ferris wheel. That's a lot of confidence, man. 217 points. They already qualled. Said the only one using this wonky wheel is going to be Peterbot and Poyo.
It's not in the last game. They're already loosening up here. Just making a statement. Again, mind games like we talked about. It's all mind games at this point.
That's true. I always talk about how important it is having a strong mental game in these tournaments, because whether if it's 5 games or 6 or even 12 in the grand finals, you got to know that nothing is going to go perfect. There's going to be speed bumps along the road in your journey, so you got to be able to bounce back from that. And mental composure is just as big as anything else. You don't want to have to shut down midway through the tournament. So gonna be looking at that to see how teams perform at the start of some days and how they finished at the end of others. As Chimp and Liam, they're one of the teams that I always talk about. You know, we talk about the Ferris wheel, we talk about the rifts, latte landing. I mentioned it, I believe, yesterday. I mentioned it again. It has one launch pad back here that they're using, and it's different than the majority of every other launch pad on the map because it takes you higher and it takes you further as a standard launch pad itself. Now, Monster, combine that with a shockwave, combine that with a flowberry fizz, and that's what allowing Liam and Chimp here to rotate all the way in toward the zone. And we got a mountain one this time around. It strayed away from it in that last game. So for Liam, they're going to get priority position in this zone.
Yeah, it's coming all back to this north side. These mountainous terrains definitely get difficult. The 50-50's already playing this up, so whoever's here early surely is going to have the advantage. Paper and Resi playing a little bit more of a defensive, kind of low position here. Not trying to risk too much on the high ground. They don't want to attract too much attention, but it seems like they do have to fish for some damage here. And it's inevitable. There's going to be plenty more teams starting to come this way.
Paper and Resi. Paper's one of those players back-to-back with Victor V and then with Epic Well and Victor V. 2 different globals he was able to attend. See if he can make it a third by qualifying for final, done the Summit land, and eventually globals from there. Peterbot and Koyo looking to put pressure on Chance and Tyler. They're already 400 above, and that one definitely turned sideways. Peterbot takes a huge punch to the face, but Chance and Tyler both go down. It's Koyo again. I'm not sure we've ever really given MVPs for a day. I know we didn't yesterday or before, but Koyo has to be the MVP of the day.
He is. I'm telling you, we're watching him play at the best he really has. Like, truly, he's showcasing why he is who he is, you know, and why the region continues to give him his flowers, you know. It's not a game, you know. I know they're in here messing around, building and all that, having fun, but they're just showing you sometimes it really does look like they're miles ahead of the competition.
See moving Craze right there on the line when it comes to zone, trying to put pressure onto Oliver and Carillion up above. They don't have far to rotate, but that high ground is a team that you aren't going to have to worry about. But they look down, they see Peterbot and Koyo again. Much pressure coming out from this side of the map. The other teams rotated here, Mike and Logan trying to use the Fizz Shockwave to cover distance. Luckily for them, Oliver and Carillion were busy. They were distracted, so they weren't able to get any damage on them rotating through the sky.
I'm just looking at the situation at hand here. They are going to have to move here. See how it ends up kind of playing out for them here. Enpin actually gets, yeah, credit possibly for an elimination there too while this is all happening. Oliver Ojito trying to open up some sight lines, but nothing just yet. Take a look at the wider image. You see Moxie still alive here in this end game. Noah plays here to the left. Paper's team still in the running right now. Again, these are the big performances you will have to pull out if you want to get back into the race here for consistency. So Resi and Paper do have a chance. You know what's really cool about this end game too, though, Jacob, is that if you play it right, the terrain is so crazy, you can actually win even if you don't, you know, haven't been playing very well today. Like, this can really go any way, and sometimes RNG like this can be very favorable for you.
Yeah, I know Kelly, Vivid, Zeke, they were talking about it a little bit, about teams not necessarily looking up towards high ground in the fashion that I feel like all of us can agree we thought would happen. And so exactly what you're saying, this could be one of those zones to where a team near the bottom of the leaderboard, halfway up the leaderboard, can surprise, get high ground, and clutch out and steal a win away. But still, there's so much action going down when we get to the side of these mountains. King and Aviv continuing to find their groove. King with 5 eliminations so far in this game. And King, rightfully so, is getting his moments in the spotlight. He just needs to cap it off with a spot in finals.
It's kind of crazy to see Peterbot and Koyo have tanked so much Storm, and they have the pizza, but they've gone through it all. And it did not pay off. Unfortunately, they couldn't get that follow-up refresh or elimination, but they still have a miss to play with here. Still being a little hesitant and, of course, relying on the Siphon instead here. Peterbot's going to be able to at least heal up off of that. He wants to push for the finish here. It's going to be on to Moxie.
Doesn't matter who it is that's in his path. He wants to get that elimination. Like you said, Moxie goes down. Wolf is going to be stuck by himself. There's just thunder bursting into the box, giving him really no time to react as a solo. Just infinite spray going in. You see it's going a little bit off of this mountain, away from it. More even terrain. I wouldn't say it's flat by any means. You see different mountains and different ranges there in the distance, but it's not as drastic as it was in the north side of that last zone.
I just realized too, Peterbot's playing with the click skin, you know, just really putting the salt on the dish here. Booga in his icon fit, looking pretty solid. We've seen him compete in this one plenty of times, but get back to it. So Peterbot Boyo, after the refresh now, have some high ground positioning. Peterbot or Paper and Rezi here go from the mid layer of that mountain down to the low ground, almost forced here. 33 below now, so couldn't quite capitalize on the chaos of the teams rotating from the outskirts. They didn't do enough damage. They've done enough to kind of be there, but now they're forced to fight here in the ultimate low. And this just opens up everything for Peterbot and Boyo. You know, we were talking about this gift that the elevation of the storm can play for you, right? The chaos. However, the experienced teams are also going to get gifted here because they'll play it best.
Yeah, they've already reconnected on multiple different surfaces, but can't expend too many mats. They're going to use the shockwave, try to get to the front, and immediately build back on up. Trying to be quick, fast, and in a hurry so nobody shockwaves and steals it away. King, Aviv, there in the front side of the zone. Paper trying to position in the front side of the zone, and these are all threats to the high ground, whether they have intentions or not.
See it. 40 players now, so we're right at the cutoff here. We're back in the safe zone here. This is a big game for Paper. This is the type of fight that they need. No matter how many points Noah Blaze's team managed to earn so far as well. This might be also their first real end game here. A lot of teams starting to show up now in the back two games.
Yeah, there's a good chunk of teams still here in this competition that can still get in through consistency. It might not necessarily be a top 20 in terms of points that they need here, maybe a top 8 or a top 5, but they still have a chance to not have to go into game 6 needing a win. Oliver and Carillion are one of those teams, but they haven't picked up elimination. That's where they have to start to pick up the pace. It's not just placing high in these games alone. They need to combine it with those eliminations, which is 3 points per. But they get to the front side of the zone. They realize opportunities will naturally come as the game progresses, but Booga and Craze, they're quickly running out of mats, so they're now trying to be proactive and pick up elimination. Good amount of damage as teams rotating by, but nothing to get the actual elim, to get them the mats. But while all that's going down, Peterbot and Boyo have finally been contested and taken out.
You know, I was curious. I was just about to say that Peterbot and Boyo might actually, in the end, concede the win in general, but I'm not sure they wanted to go out that soon and in that fashion. Penta just pops up out of nowhere, makes it happen. Booga falls as well, and all of a sudden now, we don't know who's going to take this game right here. This can go any way.
Yeah, Power Penta, though, they're in the driver's seat right now on the high ground. Nobody's really having a chance to look up. You see Aviv and King, one of those teams that might, but they're just going through so much chaos down low on the low ground. Going for more elims here, picking up the Siphon mats. Aviv realizing, hey, I'm running out. The bare minimum is all I really have left. Noah Plays has some, but does not have his teammate. Carbone is going to go down, leaving Noah Plays no choice but to start his heal off early and hope to get a couple more placement points.
Plays playing for that heal off. Top 10 now, so it is working. The placement points are starting to come through. Flex and Light. Flex barely holding on there. Oliver OG's in this end game as well. He's managed to go the distance with Carillion here, and they're at 80 points now, Jacob. Okay, so things are starting to get closer and closer now. The teams that needed to jump up and get into the top 8 are starting to do it. The teams that needed to break away and give themselves the cushion, the distance to be there are doing it as well. Aviv and King are 2 of those teams. Penta's team's another one. And Noah Plays is actually turning online here too as he finds his first healing in this end game.
Yeah, sometimes the first one's the hardest, but it's the most rewarding. The Siphon keeping him alive wasn't really able to pick up all the materials, so he's only down to 7. Somebody else watching him on the other side. King in a similar solo situation, but he's fresh out of build. No choice but to look back, and he gets at least 1. The mats is what's most important because he's able to push himself going forward. 2 duos left in this game. 2 solos left in this game, and one of the duos is Oliver OG here, making a chop and a play for the high ground. He reconnects and solidifies it, but he lost Carillion along the way.
with one mat as well. Talk about having heart, talk about having confidence. But look at King. King's at 11 eliminations. He has been playing so well right now, but Oliver had too much time to heal. He's 200 HP. No mats though, and that's the difference for a pro here. Anything can go down in this toe-to-toe.
You know, the way King has been playing, this is going to be a hard one to beat already with 11 eliminations. Oliver just trying to go ahead and create distance. He has a little bit of HP left. He's hoping and praying the Chug Jug is going to be enough, but King has so much time left on the zone. That was a mistake by Oliver OG that King is going to capitalize on him, smiling ear to ear because he had just punched his ticket to the FNCS Grand Finals.
He did it in great fashion as well. 12 eliminations alongside of Vive. Lost the Vive in the top 10 and still managed to play that so well. I know Oliver's thinking to himself, why did I go back so soon? He would have been better, of course, taking the full-on fight. Well, in the end, game 4 is now wrapped, Zeke.
Yo, I mean, you know what? We called them the big cheese of even the start of the show, and you know, these guys are losing their minds. A solo clutch, 12 elims from Kingling? What the heck is happening, Kelly?
Absolutely insane. We talked about it at the start of the show, these kind of veteran players finding these young bloods, these, fragging prowesses, and Kingling and Aviv picked the perfect duo mate in him. Honestly, there was a moment there where Oliver OG went for high ground, lost Carillion, and that was just the opportunity for Kingling. He sees someone that was sticking to the low ground, go for high ground. He probably realizes that they don't have that many mats, and this is his opportunity to go on the aggressive.
Yeah, Kingling known for being that creative word, being very, very mechanical. So, like Kelly was mentioning, as soon as that 1v1 came around and I saw that Kingling still had a couple of builds to work with, I didn't want to count Oliver out, but I was like, man, I feel like this one's going to be a little one-sided. And sure enough, it was Kingling just, placing all of the builds, making sure all of the control was his, and ends up cleaning it up very, very nicely. A 12 elimination game from King as an individual. This is not a team total. This is an individual count. I can almost guarantee you we're going to see some of these highlights from this game in a video somewhere.
I know that we were looking at Veno's eliminations for the most eliminations we had from a single player, but as far as a single player in a single game goes, Kingling might take the cake for NAC.
Oh my gosh, man. That's the trick, right, Kelly? Is you just change whatever your name is, just change it to King, and you'll just become royalty. That's what I'm taking away from this. So you guys can now call me Zeke King. That's right. That's right. With that being said, though, we are going to go to a short break. When we come back, game number 5. One last opportunity to get a victory royale or to end the day in the top 10. Don't go anywhere. You won't want to miss this final game.
Watch me arrive. Watch me arrive. Watch me arrive.
stress. It's what I feel right now, getting ready for the last game out of heat number 3. We need a victory royale or to end in the top 10 if we want to keep the FNCS dream alive, which means not taking it to the LCQ. We don't want to go there. Very difficult there. We need to qualify right here, right now. Let's take a look at the standings, okay? With only a single game left to go, we got to start kind of setting the stage of what could happen, who's on the edge of qualing. Like, there's so much to talk about. Obviously, Peterbot and Poyle. We'll start at the top real fast. This last game, you know, Kelly, Vivid, I think this is the first time officially we've ever seen a duo claim a drop spot live on broadcast.
Yeah, that is quite possible with Poyo and Peterbot changing up their drop spots in the middle of heats. I don't know if anyone could have expected it, but also Heat 3 has been a little bit of an unexpected ride. So Poyo and Peterbot kind of just playing things as they see them. But as far as grand finals go, you know, they're currently in our first place spot for consistency, but with 243 points, Vivid, I just don't know if it's enough.
I mean, yeah. Who knows, right? Nah, they're definitely chilling. 37 eliminations on the day as well. Watching some of that back, by the way, I couldn't believe. I was kind of watching it, right? Kelly called me off guard, throwing it to me right there. So I was watching, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, how did Peterbot and Poyle go down? And it happened fast, man. The high ground take from Power and Penta there that game was honestly incredible stuff from them, and no surprise to see how good they are. Be able to take down Peterbot and Poyle to find them in that second place spot on the consistency leaderboard as well. So, you know, great stuff from them to go ahead and take that game.
I love it. I love it. Let's take a look at page 2. Okay, let's flip on over. So top 15, basically after this last game is where we need to be if we want to be in that top 10 of consistency. Right now, Dolzer, Ishu, right there on the very bleeding edge of qualing, right? We talked about them at the start of this show, but you know, Kelly, they're only 5 points ahead. That's really not enough. And with that second place out of Oliver OG, they also jump up 10 places. Like,
10
Kelly, this is gonna come down to the wire.
I mean, obviously, a lot of us looking towards Oliver OG, one of the OGs for Fortnite, but also looking at a lot of our other names there. There's still people jumping up so many placements in our leaderboard. This is definitely still not it. And when it comes down to heats, you could literally be in last place, but if you are able to walk away with the victory royale, that is all you need. And it is possibly Oliver OG's story that he is going to be wrapping up from game number 5. They had such a good game number 4, playing that high ground really well, but when you run out of mats, when you don't have much else going for you, honestly, there's only so much you can do besides run away, try and go for the heal off, and then realize, oh wait, I don't have what I need for the heal off, let me go back.
I gotta tell you, I don't want to speak this into fruition, but man, it's gonna hurt if Oliver OG and Brilliant do not qualify, and that's how close they were. Right, came down to a 1v1 because right now they are sitting outside of that threshold, 16th place right now, 106 points. To kind of speak on the history of how the heats have gone this weekend, in heat number 1, we were sitting at 145 points to qualify to grands through consistency, and then in heat number 2 it was 174. I don't think we're gonna get up to the 170s today, but it does look like it. Wouldn't be surprised if it was around that 145 mark again, which if you take a look at some of our teams, right, we've got Booga up there in 12th place, is pretty close to 145, and who knows if it's exactly going to be that, but still a little bit below that. Man, I still am kind of waiting for that pop-off game from this duo. I did request, I was like, hey, you know, I want Craze to get a little bit more into the action. Again, this game right here, they ended this one with just 2 eliminations. I'm still looking for that big pop-off game. They've got one more opportunity to do it. Hopefully they at least get into the end game, because a solid game getting there would probably qualify them.
I mean, obviously, there's only so much that we can watch in the early games right here, but you do have to wonder if just these early games aren't working out for Booga and Craze. To go to Zone 8 with just 10 builds is definitely not the position you want to be in. I'm wondering if it's just bad rotations or whatever, but regardless, yes, they're close to that precipice of not qualifying, but it's Booga and Craze. If anyone's going to be able to lock in the final game, Zeke, it's got to be Booga.
That's right. This is it. The final game out of Heat 3. If you're a duo and you're not inside that top 10, don't give up. Fight till the very end. This could still go any which way. Fortnite fan, for the last time today, lock in. It's game number 5 starts now.
He said it himself. Game number 5 is here, and the most important game of the day. 4 teams already snatched their ticket to the finals by winning these games, and right now is the last chance. Everybody is on equal footing here.
Yeah, you know, it's been quite the crazy tournament day, if we do say so ourselves. First off, it started with jamming all this competition into the week, and now here we're at the final stretch to pick our last teams, Jacob, that are going to qualify.
Yeah, and it's going to be close. It was like 10 points in yesterday's heat separating who went to the grand finals and who has to try again in the LCQ. Heat 1 was a little bit closer, and I'm just kind of hoping this one goes down to the wire. We've seen teams inside of the bubble and outside of the bubble lay it all on the line to get to the grand finals. It's the final countdown, last game of the day. Monster, let's jump right into it.
Heat 3, Game 5, the last of the evening is now before us. Obviously, we've seen so much develop, especially in the last 5 rounds of Fortnite. However, this game is going to be the most important. We saw that just in 2 games, you have been basically able to put yourself in the running, right? Setting yourself up here for the Game 5 finale stretch. Oliver OG, though, is one of those teams, Jacob, right? We want to see him do well, and they're just right there.
Yeah, so close by. And again, Clicks and Higgs. And this is something Zeke said himself, for one of the first times ever we've seen a team not only switch drop spots, but claim a brand new drop spot and literally write their name on it. Clicks and Higgs went from Wonky Land to Squibbly Shores to basically a split drop in the middle of nowhere. They're inside of the bubble as of now, Monster, but it's so close. Someone steals attention. Tenya, Proxy, 4 Fields. The battle that's been going down all day long. Proxy and Tenya are going to get that early lead, and with this being their last chance to win the game, it's all on Kiffy's shoulders for him and his duo to have any bit of a chance.
This is crazy close, but I'm thinking about, I just want to bring that conversation back to Clicks and Higgs for a second. They are, you know, playing well outside their comfort zone right now, really having to mix it up, and it just shows you how much pressure they have on their shoulders to just secure a couple more points, right? To make sure they actually get their grand final spot, because it's not free. It's not free for anyone just yet. That's how close it is on the standings here. Even for Bugha, you're still having to perform here. Just a couple more points, but again, we've seen how difficult these mid games can be.
Especially with how many lurks just like this that we're seeing all over the map, just trying to sneak up on players just like that. Turbulence did not see it coming. Zusto slams him right back to the lobby. Luckily for them, though, his duo was a little bit separated from where he's actually at. You see him in the mini-map there. Even though he is close by, they don't know where he's actually at. So it does look like Lucky T down below has no choice but to sit and wait, and hopefully that team rotates out instead of camping the card.
Yeah, look at this, though. Most important fight for Oliver OG right now. And, of course, the team that's been contesting them here at the north side. They've managed to win it consistently time and time again, but it just makes you wonder, is it finally the opponents' time? First shot's going to go to the losing side for Oliver OG. Carillion, though, just there to back him up and go ahead and take out the trades. Oliver heals, but no, he gets edited out from below. So this is really bad for Carillion. Forced to concede the box there, and now he's starting to run out of mats.
And it's happening so early on in this game. They don't really have a ton of resources. Not only are you talking about mats, but heals as well. But Oliver G is still approaching the fight with aggression. Tries to go ahead and get them down. Missed a couple of shots. That one was definitely scary. Missed that one on trying to get the actual elimination for the Siphon. Luckily for him, Carillion scoops up that second elimination, giving them a chance. And they performed so well in that last game. They don't even necessarily need the win here. They just need enough points.
Yeah, that was crazy. 2 elims right there, but the 50-50 from Oliver's side. Not sure how I feel about that one. Take a look at Tyler's 2-piece pickup right here. He drop kicks Max in the box, then finds Preston with no HP on the other side here. Let's go and finishes that one up. And just like that, they are in the race to the finish line. 87 points earned. Big damage as well to survive what could be the first Sword warning in a couple moments. For Bobby, for Mar, you know, we've seen some early game success out of this team, but nothing after that. So Penta Power is a team that has nothing to lose. They've done it all. They've done what they need to. That last game was honestly the best they could have asked for.
And I can honestly respect for Bobby and his duo just trying to contest a better drop, because they're actually marked in the beginning of this tournament that we're landing south of Sandy Strip, but that was also contested. So if you're gonna fight for a drop, I always think might as well get something for it, but just interesting decision to choose the drop to go against Power and Penta, who will all but have their spot secured here in the FNCS Grand Finals, almost playing with nothing to lose. So it's a different type of pressure versus Bobby and his duo are facing right now. You can see they're not necessarily going straight in for the 50-50. They realize if they're going to have any shot at winning the game, it's not going to be off the back of taking down Power and Penta. It's going to be off consistent, good plays throughout the course of the game.
What do things happen here? Peterbot, Boyo with some early rotates, looking like they're trying to hunt for someone right now.
Looks like he went towards Scribbly, hoping to find Clicks and Higgs yet again. Runs into Noxie and Mason. It's really just unfortunate for Noxie and Mason here. They weren't even the intended targets, but they get taken down, separated from one another. Mason's gonna have to sit back, watch Noxie, and hopefully he survives this. But you gotta be careful, because MikeBot by himself hiding inside his Squibbly Shores, and all he needs is one good pump.
No.
But no! The
I was
same
afraid.
feeling.
I was afraid, Jacob, this was gonna happen. Madden and Cole rotate in. You know, it's just a matter of time before those other teams start to do something different, and they know you're contested, right? So you almost can't do the same thing you've done game after game. You have to mix it up. That's why like Clicks and Higgs were smart enough to know, like, all right, yeah, we have some pressure on our back. Let's do something a little different. And unfortunately, Oliver OG just, it's almost like he played into the book, you know?
Oh, they heard the reboot. Mike was waiting there for so long. Hopefully the push went on to someone else, but they disengaged off one fight. Fights for the other. Mike, just like Logan, is hitting haymakers, making Poyo almost second-guess that decision. But you know, they love aggression. They love to fight. And so they're going to continue the persistent pressure onto Mike. They got to be careful for any third parties venturing in their way. But for now, it does look clear as day. Mike continues to try to back up, runs into Poyo a second time, but
Hits
does
him
not
too.
find the same luck.
He hits him hard, though. He almost finished him if Peterbot wasn't there to back him up. That was kind of crazy. So Boyo forced there to really dig into his heels now twice, back to back. Meanwhile, Clicks and Higgs went from the split drop into the Dark Dominion to go ahead and max out their metal materials. I like this. Definitely like this strategy a lot here. Dark Dominion is one of the very interesting drops that kind of allows you to just do something super off the wall like that, but still know like, hey, it's all good. Like we can get that max material.
You know, a lot of teams that do like to rotate towards Dark Dominion, but Liam and Chimp clean up another elimination. They're on the heels of Clicks and Higgs as well in terms of points. Both of them inside of the bubble. Peterbot and Poyo journey continues, but Poyo goes down yet again. This is time for Peterbot to save the day, return the favor for some of the earlier games and performances that Poyo was having. They're already at 6 eliminations here. This is
From here-
absolute craziness.
From here on out, any team Peterbot and Boyo pushes, I need to watch the opposite perspective. I need to know what it means for the team on the other side, because they are playing with a mission right now, and they have eliminated 3 teams so far. And quite frankly, I can't even tell you if any of those teams were about to qual, but it's over now because Peterbot and Boyo are hunting this last game.
Yeah, just literally ending and crushing dreams as it goes on.
Insane.
Jack and NPen as well, though. They got a much harder journey, but 95 points. I want to say Vivid mentioned about 145, between 170, but it might be on the lower end. About 50 points, so I'm just theory crafting math. So they need close to a win, but depending on how other teams perform, they might be able to get in with the second place. Uh-oh.
Oh no, they're getting closer and closer. Higgs Clicks on the move here. Even they know they probably shouldn't stay still for too long. Clicks goes into the bush. Peterbot checks the bush blindly. Clicks in a panic, puts the build down. Peterbot just had a feeling, and I think now he knows here what is about to play out. Obviously, you get that information from the client, so surely he knows what the pits are looking like. So here we have it. We're gonna get a nice little clash here. Clicks has to win this fight. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah, and I see him immediately turn around, trying to put the pressure back onto Peterbot because he had a good advantage over Higgs at the moment. But now they're both just beaming up, and the third parties are now affecting this fight as well. So it's not going to be a clean 2v2. I think anybody would be crazy to think that would be the case, but Peterbot's persistence here. He knows Clix is in danger of not getting in through heats here today and forcing him to try to go through the LCQ. He's not only taking his drop, he's taking his confidence away by continuously putting down that pressure. Higgs, only a sliver of shield missing. It's Clix that needs most of that pressure being put off of him, but he's going to be the one that does go down.
Ooh.
But Higgs does a good job of trading it away. 1v1, but Higgs goes down. Poyo wins the fight. Clix and Higgs have just been eliminated in game 5.
And we knew it, man. Poyo is just playing so well today. Higgs, unfortunately, did very good. Beats Peterbot in the exchange, and then that just happens in the end. Here comes Percento. He sees what happens. He's trying to get a piece of the action here. Might as well put your name in the lights, camera, and the action here. But Peterbot and Poyo, they have done what they came here to do.
For Clix and Higgs, they're going to be looking at the 149 points, hoping it holds. But Peterbot goes down yet again. Poyo stuck in a solo clutch situation against Percent and Tragic. 70 points. Almost needing a win here in order to get in the FNCS Grand Finals. The last spot claimed through a victory royale. And that's going to be a huge confidence boost taking down Peterbot just like that. But it doesn't look like it's over just yet. Poyo still going on the offensive. You can see he has over the amount of gold needed to purchase the reboot back, but it might be he wants to go for the actual card. So that way he has enough gold to visit the vending machine.
Definitely has some time to work with here. Meanwhile, Power, Penta, they've been fired up for good reason. They find Bobby here, who's just outside the palms. That team gets fully wiped up right there. So 149 points ends up being how far Clix and Higgs have made it. The real question is it going to be enough to hold up? You saw the teams, about 3 teams in the 111 point range mark. It will require all 3 of those guys to basically make an end game if they really want to get pushed out easily. But more importantly, the best thing that can happen, I guess, is someone up at the top takes a win.
Yeah, and already we're seeing teams like, Power and Penta get eliminations. We saw Cole and Madden get eliminations. Even Peterbot and Poyo, we saw those eliminations. And that is essentially stealing points away from everybody else at the bottom side of the leaderboard. So in essence, it might make the gap smaller than some might think, but it's still anybody's game as Poyo returns back on over towards Squibbly Shores. He knows there's not going to be too much contention here. They already cleaned it out most of the way. So he's going to get Peterbot back on into the game. They already have 8 eliminations, 2 more than the last time we saw them. And so I don't think they're done just yet here.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. I was like, well, they already cleared this entire area. Like, there's plenty for them to come back and work with here. Poyo, of course, recognizing that. Up and back with Tyler. Chance, these are teams that, again, are in contention for that top spot. Any one of these guys can obviously continue to pop off. But again, if you're Clix and Higgs, you are really just shaking your head right now and hoping that someone above you is going to take a win, secure a spot out, and help move that standing on up. And not the reverse, right? Pushing you down would be a problem.
Similar zone as last game, though. Not exact, but we're just south of Wonky Land this time around. It's going to make for some interesting strategies. If you stay near these tall trees, you can connect to them, and it has a lot of HP to knock them down. And even after you knock them down, you still have to break the build. So hopefully teams begin to think in and outside of that box when it comes to this end game, because there's a lot of opportunity to really take charge of your own destiny, including Must and Liquid here. We saw them on the high ground in a couple of these games. We saw them have big moments here, but on 117 points, there's no bigger moment for them than this game here.
It's insane. Look at this. Using those shocks to get up in those trees that we know you can actually build on makes for like a very interesting visual here. Liquid and Must, though, they've been here the whole time. No need to move so far, right? So we're just kind of big chilling here. Think about this, Jacob.
Not too bad for the Lumen Chimp, though. They still have the wheel that they want to use, and because the zone's not too far away from where actual Wonky Land is, as long as he has the HP, which he does have 6 splashes and some Slapperoni Pizza, he just needs to get towards a reboot. Wait for a lot of these teams to move on out. But you got to be careful, because 2 tick going into 5 tick, so Chimp really has some decisions to make, and right now it does look like he's saying, hey, I might have to make this one happen as a solo, and on 148 points, that's one daring decision to make.
Definitely, and he's pushing across. Really putting it all on the line right now. 148 is very, very close here to, of course, even pushing out someone like Clicks and Higgs, who are at 149, right? That is very, very important of a threshold, a point threshold that the teams below Clicks and Higgs, if they break, all of a sudden will make it even closer for them. So, I mean, Jake, I'm going to ask you here and now, do you think Clicks and Higgs are going to the LCQ?
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think 149 is going to be it. But it's a guess. Everybody out
It's
there, I'm not saying
close.
149
Yeah,
is
that's
going to be
true.
it. It's a guess. I want to believe, man. I'm a huge fan of
Close.
Higgs. I'm a huge fan of Clicks as well. Would like to see them be successful and maybe get the revenge in grand finals, because that is just storylines for the ages already brewing. But Bugha and Craze would be the next team on their heels in terms of the leaderboard. About 12 or so points down. That could be one of the teams that pass, but it wouldn't push them out of qualification yet, because Bugha Craze, they are already inside of that bubble. Peterbot and Poyo fresh off of that reboot. Luckily for the Zen, the zone moved in this direction, so they have to make a short walk before they find themselves in zone.
The irony, if they end up being the reason that Clicks and Higgs also get through because they key everybody that's in contention. We'll end up finding out here now, Jacob. They're continuing to push, and they're here. Very nicely done. Chaotic folds over so fast. And they're going to get the finish, the refresh here. Lobby starts to look inwards, though. Poyo takes a lot of damage there, but again, it's just a matter of time. There it is. Peterbot secures the loot, reinforces the base up, finds the pizzas here. And just like that, they're not only in the zone, but they are better off than what they were when they rotated in.
Yeah, and there was a little bit more strategy behind trying to get that elimination. That wasn't them just keying, even though, yes, it probably is, because you're seeing he's doing it again, but it's more so they needed the materials. Fresh off the reboot, about 400 mats instead of stack. He's going for another one. Peterbot, if he sees somebody, he's going, but right now, taken down yet again. Really being put on the shoulders of Poyo here to try to save the day once more, but Poyo doesn't actually get the box up onto Peterbot, so he's not going to get the revive. Percent and Tragic have just taken down Pete and left Poyo once again as a solo, but honestly, I'm feeling like the way I felt about Peter years ago. There's almost no worries the way Poyo's been performing.
Now I'm curious now if he's thinking about whether or not they want to keep pushing other teams here, but Poyo's had so much attention on him today. I think that one was intentional. Like, yeah, you know what, Peterbot, I'm done saving you, bruh. you go in and get sacrificed right there. That's what it seemed like. He could have saved them. He could have put the edit. Peterbot could have rolled into the box.
I'm not sure what that was.
Yeah, he's done. No, he's done. You can just tell, right? Like, compared to any of the other solo clutches he's put up today, I think at that point they recognize, like, all right, let's go ahead and gift you a little bit of loot. All right, we're gonna give these guys some loot. Let's go ahead and clean this up.
Take a little break. That way they can kick back, relax, you know, pop open a slurp juice and just enjoy the rest of the tournament. Seeing who their competition might be. If anybody's brave enough to contest either Squibbly or Wonky, choices there. But Craze is down right now and cleaned up. Bugha left by himself, 139 points. Another team goes down, so he's able to get a couple more placement points, jumping to 146. Still inside of that bubble, but it's only top 23. Barely any placement points has graced the lobby, but with each and every team that does fall, they're going to continue to cascade, but Bugha's feeling the pressure being forced further and further outside of the zone, and for now, that zone is going to hit, and luckily for him, he does have the slap pizza, he does have some splashes, but with only one shockwave left, he has to decide wisely when and where he's going to use it.
Bugha's got one job, and that's stay alive longer than one more team in order to push Clicks and Higgs down another position on the consistency board. Meanwhile, Dozier and Eshu are getting closer and closer to making leaps, bounce, and jumps up into the qualification range, because they're at 124 right now.
It is so close. I feel like they can almost taste it. You see a sky view of where everybody's stacked up. Percent is willing to take a little bit of extra space there on the high ground. They're the ones that have it for now. Power by himself, 223 points, almost nothing to lose, just trying to crush dreams. Tenya is going to be that player that is in his line of sight, trying to break into the box. No Thunderburst to bleed shots through, but he's staying persistent and trying to get the elimination. Full control is his. Just waiting for the chaos to reload, and he quickly peeks, gets the elim, waits to take a tick of damage, so that way when he gets the elimination, the siphon actually goes to work.
Yeah, very nicely done there as well. And then, of course, gets the refresh. That's 10 eliminations for them now. Meanwhile, look at this. NPen and Jack coming back from the grave here. 111 points. The end game is theirs, and they're starting to really earn points. Meanwhile, High Ground, these are teams willing to throw it all on the table as they have the last chance to go ahead and pull a victory here.
Yeah, Cole and Madden, maybe, playing 4 games out, that's good practice. 5th game, might try to get a win here. And so far, it's working out well. Big elimination on the percent. Cole coming in from the backside of the zone, but he used the shockwave. The fizz goes too high, too far. Almost gets taken down, but he has a slice in the air, barely holding on. Booga as well, a much more drastic situation. 1 build left. He has 160 points, so he's starting to build himself a little bit of a cushion here, just in case he does go down, but he lands another big shot onto Proxy across, trying to break into the box, but eventually he's gonna have to abandon the play and keep moving forward. Flank comes in, Booga's still on the run.
Yeah, this is good though. Booga's done it. He's done enough. He's 162 right now. He's been clutching up since about 139 points coming into this. 162 surely should be enough now. And look at this. Cole and Madden still in the game right here. That pizza eating in the sky play right there manages to keep them alive. And the more points that they earn, the more they're going to just, again, absorb into the top of the leaderboards right now. For NPen, for Jack, their dream is cut short. For Matrix and Rezi, this is looking all the more close for them right now. It's not looking good here. Paper, they have 8 eons, but they're so in, Jacob.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see a big performance from Rezi. All the time I'm hearing Rezi's next up. Gotta keep an eye on him. This is his chance to really prove it. He's going through so much trying to get out alive. He makes it to the front side of the zone where he has some extra heals, but it's the material that he doesn't have a ton of. And he even tries to farm the tree, but that one gets stolen away. High ground, Cole and Madden just causing destruction down below. That Slam, that Zypta just trying to survive the onslaught of pressure that they're feeling from up above. But now Dozier and Ishu get taken down. 151 points as Rezi's on their heels.
Now look at this, 151 jumps over, 150 now for Rezi, jumps over the bar as well. These are new teams entering into the qualification range now. Aiden and Waffle Joe still have a chance to do it. They can get a couple elims, they can find placement points because Cole on the high ground is just easing up right now. But Slam and Zypta are trying to do it too. This might come down to the win for this low ground team. However, a couple elims, if they can absorb all these points, they might just go through on qualification points alone.
Big right now for Rezi. He's really putting Paper on his back right now, and you can see why Paper put the trust in him to be his duo. But he gets flanked, but he fires a massive shot. Carlitos feels the pain here, and now Yuki's by himself. Rezi's not ready to give up just yet. No builds, needs the siphon, needs the materials, but his superstar show comes to an end. Yuki's now by himself, trying to shockwave up, goes up against Cole and Madden, Zypta and Slam. He's the only solo in this world full of duos.
This is actually perfect for Zypta and Slam right now. The fact that Cole and, his teammate on the high ground are actually so low on HP. Look at this. Madden, they barely have anything to work with, just a couple mats, but Cole's got nothing here. This can come down to the disruptor. The low ground team starts to look up, and then the shots go back and forth. It is not looking good at all here, Jacob.
Yeah, Slam and Zypta, they need this win in order to qualify. We saw the point gap get spread so far here, but he gets a big elim onto one. Back-to-back shots by Slam and Zypta. 12 eliminations and a spot in Grand Finals. Game 6 for them. Couldn't have gone any better.
And that's the worst case scenario for a team that didn't have enough points to take the win. It's great for them, bad for everyone else. Zypta and Slam, congratulations. You have done it. And Zeke, that's going to wrap up game number 5.
Oh, man. First off, Jacob, MDF, fantastic cast again. Thank you guys so much for that. MDF called it out. The fact that this team wasn't in the top 10 and got a VR, great for them. Shout out to y'all. We'll see you guys next week in finals. Really bad for the lobby. We'll get to that in just a moment because I do want to give these guys their flowers. Finding yourself in a situation, and this is why I said right before going into this game, don't give up, right? It could come down to this final game. Fortnite does this all the time. Think about grand finals, games 12, right? Things like this, you wait out until those final moments, and now Zypta and Slam will be going to finals because they continue to believe, they continue to push, and got themselves that Victor Royale, Kelly.
I mean, so Zift and Slam, who we actually have known as Backtalk in previous competitions, I've seen them play in heats, I've seen them play in the open qualifiers, but Vivid loves to bring it up. I'm going to be stealing this spotlight from him. They have yet to compete in a grand finals together, so to see them be able to get the final game of the final heat and claim that victory royale, that is what it is all about, Vivid.
I mean, what a way to do it. The clutch factor. You go all the way to all the distance for this one, right? Game 5 of the last heat on NAC. I mean, yeah, sure, you got the last chance qualifier left, but you don't want to go there. They went ahead, they clutched up, and, you know, we're kind of talking about how much they needed that game. They were on 47 points going into this last game, so they weren't even close to that threshold coming into this one. So definitely needed a huge game there. The only way to probably go ahead and mathematically do that one is to pick up that win. They do just that, patiently waiting on the low ground for everything to unravel above them, and they just played it perfectly.
Let's relive the winners. Maybe you're tuning in, you missed out on who got themselves a victory on auto qualified onto finals next weekend. Here is a breakdown and the games that they got the VRs as well. Friends, okay, let's start to talk about the elephant in the room. Clicks and Higgs. We knew going into that game 149 points. Okay, they were comfortably in the top 5, comfortably, you know, quote unquote, and fell pretty early in that last game to Peterbot and Pollo. Peterbot and Pollo decided, you know what, it's time. We're hunting down our rivals. We're gonna take them out, make sure that they're whatever other points they've earned, no more. We're shutting it down. Many other players in this game, we started to follow really closely, right? You start to look in that bottom left, a little icon with the numbers, right? 149. You're trying to see other duos creep up, surpass those numbers. Now I got a question. Did they make it, Kelly? Did they make it? I'm scared. I'm scared.
Well, I don't want to spoil anything just yet, but for Clicks and Higgs to be able to handle this Heat 3, to be able to go up against the likes of Pollo and Peterbot, and to kind of have this storyline play out before really even the grand finals, you know that there was a lot of pressure onto Clicks and Higgs. But if there is anything that this duo can handle, it is the pressure. Yes, Peterbot and Pollo are the juggernauts of the region. And yes, although they might have won that game number 5, if we do look at that second page and see the threshold, Zeke, we might not see Clicks and Higgs right here, but we do see them in that 14th place. Now, Zeke, that is very close. Probably a lot closer than a lot of us were going to expect. 1 point away from that precipice of hitting that 15th place. Vivid. Clicks and Higgs might not wanted to be here for Heat 3, but I can imagine they're going to be making some changes for the grand finals.
We were kind of watching that last game right there, and Kelly was pretty convinced that, oh yeah, 149, they were fine. I was like, I don't know, it's going to be pretty close. Turns out she was right, but I think it ended up being pretty close. But yes, they do qualify to finals. Doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you're going to be there. And we've kind of talked about it. Socials are going crazy. Everybody in the community is kind of realizing what's unfolding for the drop map ahead of those grand finals. So they have a lot to figure out ahead of them in terms of their early game. Probably want to, you know, adjust a couple of things going into some of the late games as well. Maybe some of those mid-game fights. But like I said, in the grand finals, another one of the big teams that we were actually following today, Booga and Crazy. You can see them up there in 11th place. They are through to finals as well, so cool to see that. And I did want to go ahead and give a huge shout out to Paper and Rezi. First of all, Paper, man, he is just always in the mix. He always finds himself qualifying for things, whether it be global championships, whether it be grand finals, right? We kind of like don't hear about him, and he just like comes back to the game. But it was all in the back of Rezi, man. An incredible solo clutch, and you actually saw it when we were looking at the standings. They went up 9 positions. They really, really needed a good game, so they got the job done. They went ahead and clutched it up. And as we watch some of the Booga and Craze highlights from that last game, they also needed to pick up a couple of points to secure their qualification as well, and they did just that.
Oh my gosh, man. To think the very next step is the last chance qualifier. Still some names are gonna have to take it there. and battle it out. And only there's only a handful spots there, you know. I mean, look at 26th place, right? Noah W plays. Oliver OG in 22nd. We saw him make a great play there and come out in 2nd place, but you know, the competition was fierce. And I'm almost kind of like starting to look ahead. Obviously, like with the heats being somewhat chaotic, everyone's kind of split into their own heats. Now we're coming into one heat, right? From all of these different heats. Now we're kind of coming up with a more solidified plan. Hey, you know, everyone in the lobby, you guys have your drop spot, right? Like they're gonna be here, we're gonna be here. Now we have to start kind of forming plans, Kelly. It's gonna be very different next weekend.
Well,
and the fact that it's 2 days, crazy.
I mean, if you look to social media right now, there's already some plans being laid out for the rest of us to enjoy.
Going
It looks
crazy.
like Peterbot is going to be changing his drop spot to wonky. Now, he just tweeted that out. I don't know if there's any validity to that statement. And then, of course, we just saw the tweet from Flick saying that he's going wonky as well. So, Vivid, we haven't even gone to the grand finals yet, but it seems like the heat is already turning up.
Listen, we knew when we got scheduled these 3 heats, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, LCQ finals are going to be on Tuesday, and grand finals to quickly follow. We were in for one heck of a couple of weeks of Fortnite, and it's looking like we're going to get just that. NAC Zeke, it always delivers.
Oh man, I am so excited. What a fantastic weekend of Fortnite. As Vid called out, we will be here for the last chance qualifier on Tuesday, as will EU. So if you had questions, we're telling you right now, we'll be here. Make sure you tune in. Don't get crazy and wicked over there as well. As we start to wrap up, just wanted to say a massive shout out again, MDF and Jacob. These two phenomenal friends right here. Obviously, our friends over in EU, 3 days of Fortnite. Now we look forward to LCQ and then finals next weekend with spots going to the summit all on the line. Fortnite fam, we hope you have had fantastic weekend. Thanks for hanging out with us and watching some Fortnite and watching us freak out over it. Until LCQ, we love you. Keep yourself safe. We'll see you on that battle bus.
Baby.